Hi and welcome back to Carnivorr Goes for Gold. I'm Kaitlin, Carnivorr on Instagram, and this is a review of restaurants 70, 71, 72, and 73 of the 101 best restaurants in LA, according to LA Times food critic Jonathan Gold. Number 70, I went to Kogi BBQ, which is a food truck pretty famous here in LA. You've probably been. It was actually the first food truck I think I've ever been to. I went so many years ago when I was little. Chef Roy Choi kind of started the Korean fusion thing in LA. Now fusion is everywhere, but basically it's like Korean Mexican food because it's burritos, tacos, quesadillas, things like that, but with a Korean twist. So what we tried some tacos. We got calamari taco, a pork taco, the famous short rib burrito, which is excellent. That's classic. It's got like kimchi and all kinds of Korean good stuff in that burrito as well. We tried the sweet chili chicken quesadilla. That's really tasty. That sauce on there is super delicious. I love a quesadilla. And we got the Kogi sliders, which had some meat and kimchi stuff. I think that was it. This truck is all over LA. We went to when it was by Cal State Long Beach. Live in Long Beach here, but I've seen it a bunch on Abbot Kinney in Venice. It's all over. It's number 82 on Jonathan's list, so check out Kogi BBQ if you haven't already. It's a good food truck. Okay, number 71 went to Here's Looking at You, which is a new restaurant in Koreatown. This is number 26 on Jonathan's list, which is super high for just having opened up this year, so congrats to them. Chef Jonathan Whitener is his name. We tried some different things, all very tasty. We got the special, it was like pea pods, different like green peas and like other greens on top. Don't remember what else was in that one, but we also tried it was like a ceviche thing with albacore and leche de tigre. It's like tiger's milk, honeydew, cucumber, and it had popped sorghum on top, like the cutest little popcorn. That was really tasty. It was like very sweet with the fish. My sister loves ceviche, so we always have to try that. And this had a nice like texture difference with the fish and the melon, you know, the soft things, and then the popcorn on top, the sorghum. So that was tasty. We also tried the stracciatella, which is, I love that kind of cheese, which came with a really delicious bread and yuzu. Very creative flavors in these dishes. I haven't had yuzu stracciatella before. That was tasty. The bread was so good. And then veal sweetbreads, which I've never had sweetbreads before, and I'm trying to expand my palate, try a bunch of things. So that was really tasty too. The only letdown, I've heard such good things about Here's Looking at You, and all of the food was amazing. It was a gorgeous spot. I had a bit of a bummer experience there, and I don't like to say negative things, but I just feel like it has to be acknowledged for my own sanity. But anyway, I always try to take photos of the food, obviously, for these videos, if you're wondering why these photos don't look as great as some other ones. So I was trying to use flash in the restaurant, which was a distraction. I guess the manager came and asked me to stop, which I totally get. Like, I always ask if flash is okay, or I try to bring an external light. This was a bummer situation because, of course, like, you know, I'm not trying to distract the other diners, which was, you know, their reasoning for not using flash. I get it. But, you know, I'm trying to reflect the restaurant in the best way for these videos, for social media. So, you know, it's not out of a lack of respect. If anything, it's trying to show them in the best light. Literally, I would have loved to come for lunch had they been open, but they didn't have lunch hours yet. I always prefer natural light. So it's hard when it's super dark. We had like the earliest reservation available, which is like 5:30 or 6. But there's still no light because it's winter. So that was a bummer. Again, like getting asked to stop taking photos with flash is one thing, but there was just like some hostility that was lingering for the rest of the meal, so much so that my family felt uncomfortable enough that we decided not to stay for dessert, which was a bummer because I'm such a sweet tooth. I always really look forward to dessert. So it just kind of left things on a weird note. Yeah, just like some bad taste in my mouth, but the food was really good, and to have like one bad restaurant experience out of 101, you know, that's pretty good odds. So, you know, as I was trying to like check myself, like I'm definitely not looking for any special treatment. We fully paid for the meal, like the other guests. So I think it was just odd because, you know, we just want to be treated the same as their other diners, and there was only a couple other tables in the restaurant, so I hope I wasn't too distracting. I apologize to them if I was, but yeah, that was a bummer. But then I guess it was really put into perspective when I went to Rosaline the next day with my friend Jessie. And again, for both like reservations, I'd written in the reservation about my project, just letting them know I was taking photos. So I think that was the thing, is like, I wish they'd told me beforehand, like seeing me walk in with my camera, or the notes on the reservation were explaining my project. So I feel like that would have been a better time to say, hey, like, glad you're taking photos. If you could not use flash, like, then I would have been more aware and happy to accommodate. But so we walk into Rosaline and they're like, oh, we're so excited you're taking photos. Here's like an extra lamp for you to keep at your table to help with lighting. Let us know like if we can adjust the lighting. And like, again, that's like going above and beyond, and I certainly don't expect people to adjust their lighting for me. I try to be very low-key and just, you know, non-disruptive to the dining experience for everyone else. But it was just like such a stark contrast in customer service between Here's Looking at You and Rosaline that, you know, just naturally I had a better experience at Rosaline. But the food was great at Here's Looking at You. Just had to get it off my chest. But anyway, back to Rosaline. So this is number 70 on Jonathan's new list. This is another new restaurant from Chef Riccardo Zarati in West Hollywood. So my friend Jessie and I went, and we were trying as much as we could. We sat at the chef's counter so we could get a full view of the kitchen. It was so awesome. We kept doing all these little like live videos. Were pretty silly and definitely influenced by our pisco sours. You know, maybe you saw some of these videos on our Instagram live, but we got to meet Chef Zarati as well. And anyway, so we tried the Corazon Anticucho, can't speak today, which is a beef heart, which is one of their signature dishes. That was really delicious. We also got a ceviche, which they are so famous for ceviche. They have a whole menu of ceviches. We got the Kanpachi ceviche, which is Japanese amberjack, and actually this might have been Hawaiian amberjack, but the fish is amberjack, and there was a roasted sweet potato, there was lime dressing, there was pesto. Really tasty ceviche, maybe the best ceviche I've ever had. Excellent. This is Peruvian restaurant, and we also tried the Peruvian fried rice, which is a paella, chufa paella, and that had sausage, pancetta, an egg, prawns, cilantro. So delicious and so cool, again, to watch it being made in front of us at the chef's counter. And was that it? I think that was it for the savory side. We tried a dessert, a pie that was tasty, but the savory dishes were my favorite here. I've had better desserts in LA. The pie was good, but you know, maybe eat more of the savory. Not necessarily worth saving room for, just because the savory stuff was so good. This was literally one of my top 5 restaurants on the 101 list. Rosaline is so good. You must go. It is so good. Okay, number 73, went to Kobee Factory and Syrian Kitchen, which is in Van Nuys, so it was a bit of a hike, especially from Long Beach. It was like, I think a 2-hour drive, because it's, you know, the north side, and just hit myself in the face, and I'm pretty far south, but it was definitely worth the drive. This is number 67 on Jonathan's list. So Chef Wafa is the mom, and her son is the owner of the restaurant, and they are from Syria. They've been here for, I think, 5 years is what they said. I got to meet them when I was there, and they were just like, had the most inspiring story ever. Literally, like, the Chef Wafa was like talking about how her secret ingredient is love, and she was just full of passion, just so excited about her food. She'd never cooked before coming to the US, and really wanted to do it, and her son was like, kind of like, okay, like, go for it, and not really sure that it was gonna work out, but my gosh, it did. And so they catered a funeral of a mutual friend that they actually had with Jonathan Gold, and met Jonathan there while they were catering. And the mutual friend's wife was like, you gotta go check out the restaurant, Jonathan. And so Jonathan starts going to Kobee Factory, and they don't really know who he is. They met so many people at the funeral, so many people came in, so he becomes regular, basically. And then eventually he posts a photo at Kobee Factory, and someone calls him up and says, do you know who's at your restaurant? And, you know, Wafa goes up and says, Jonathan, why didn't you tell me? You're a food writer. And it's this whole thing. And he's like, okay, you know, we can take a photo together, because she asked him for a photo. But he's like, but don't post it until the review comes out. My review comes out on Saturday. Of course, it was a glowing review. They have excellent, excellent Syrian food. and just a pretty cool story. And now, you know, the restaurant is super successful. It's been around for a while, and Jonathan invites them to a lot of events with the LA Times. But yeah, it was just really inspirational because the son was literally tearing up talking about how much Jonathan has done for their family and how they wouldn't be there if it weren't for him and wasn't for his review, because this restaurant is in the middle of nowhere. It's just like a hole in the wall spot. You really, like, if you're going there for the food, and you're trekking out of your way, and you just wouldn't find a place like this without someone like Jonathan Gold to help guide the way. So it's just so awesome, really beautiful, and the Syrian food is so authentic and delicious that Kamala Harris even brought the Syrian refugees here to Kobee Factory when that whole airport situation was going down. You can read the whole article about that. It was it's just an awesome place, really inspiring and really delicious food. I'll talk about the food. So I tried Kobee Factory, Kobee, which are like fried, I got the fried version, patties of meat in like a doughy, like a doughy patty. Really, really tasty. Mine had like beef and all kinds of spices stuffed inside the dough. Break it open, delicious, served with hummus. Oh my god, the hummus was just like so smooth, delicious. There was salad, there was pita, there was tahini, just really delicious. Then I tried intestine for the first time. Okay, not my favorite dish, but had to try it. It wasn't bad. It just was, you know, it's a little hard to wrap your head around that one, but pretty tasty. It's like the outside's the intestine and the inside is stuffed with all different kinds of like, it's like a sausage casing essentially, but her intestine is so famous and so popular that people drive for like 3 hours to get it. Like they call and put an order in and they are like, Wafa, I'm driving for 3 hours. So this is like a big deal. If you love intestine, you gotta try this. And if you just wanna try something new, it's delicious. Even Jonathan, I guess, was pretty timid about trying it, but Wafa convinced him and he loved it. But I think his favorite dish is the mahadara, which is bulgur cooked with lentils. So it's like beans and grains and onions, really tasty, really flavorful. Again, served with like hummus and salad. So delicious Syrian food, never had Syrian food. Kobee Factory, which is, 73 restaurants down. So keep watching, keep following along on Instagram at Carnivorr. Carnivorr goes for gold, and I'll check in next time with more restaurants.